What's happening, folks? It's your boy, Mr. B. You hear me? Oh, okay. Guess you hear me. Uh, what's happening? Been a minute, I know. Um, been chilling, hanging out. Uh, let me see if I can put my headset on. Yeah, hold up. Let's see. Oh, okay. Hello? What the hell? Yo, yo, yo. Oh, yeah, I'm on. Usually this joint fluctuates. I don't know why it's not fluctuating. Hello? Yo? You trying to hear me? Okay. Um, what's going on? Your boy B here. I'm chilling. Um, I don't know. Yeah, man, been another day, long week. Craziness in the combat sports world. Watch episode 4 tough yesterday. Um, what else I did? Yeah, watch episode 4 tough. Let me check this. Yep, watch. Okay, now we go. No, because my joint wasn't. I don't know, audio issues. Anyway, let me say that again. Your boy Mr. B here. I don't know why it went blank real quick, but I just have to check that real quick. Hope you've been having a good couple days so far. Um, Coming back from a crazy weekend of fights, random stuff. I know it was Father's Day, so if you haven't listened, happy belated um Father's Day and birthdays, whatever, whatnot. Um, was chilling. Uh, Eventful weekend in the combat sports world, as I mentioned. We can get into the boxing real fast. Um, Regis Prograis had a fight over the weekend. Um, yeah, the Regis Prograis fight, Prograis versus Zorilla, took place um on Saturday. Tim Zoo fought on Saturday as well. That wasn't bad. That was actually pretty good. Um, Tim Zoo got that dude out in like the first round, from what I remember. Um, Zoo card wasn't really bad. No, Zoo card was actually fun. It was fun. Um, Considering the fact that it was only like one round, it was a one round fight. Um, but it was kind of what we all kind of expected. Zoo went in there. Zoo dropped his guy. Guy got back up. He obliterated that dude right out there at home in Australia. Good job for Tim Zoo. Sam Goodman got a win against Reese Aleem. I'm actually surprised he beat Aleem, but he did. Split decision. Really good fight, back and forth. Um, Hassan Hamdan got the win for the Australian super lightweight title. Technical decision because of a head clash. That kind of sucked. Accidental headbutt in the 10th. Um, There's a couple other good fights there on the card as well. But that was all right. As I mentioned, the Prograis fight versus Zorilla. Boy. Um, I watched that yesterday. Um, and I don't know how to feel about that fight. It was very odd. Um, there was action early, then it died out real quick. Like for the rest of the card, it was just the rest of the fight. I mean, it just died out. It ended up being a split decision. It could have been a split. It should have been, yeah, a split decision. The scorecards that went on Prograis side, I don't quite agree with. Um, but the fight is like a really dull, lull type fight. So like you watch it, you're like, okay, these fun 4 or 5 rounds are good, but then the rest of it is just like, yeah, I'm not interested. I'm gonna have to watch it like 2 more times. I don't agree with the two of the scorecards. There's like one something, like 109, one something. They had 114, 113. I could have won 114, 113, 115, 112 maybe. But the other cards, lunacy. Shakram Giasov beat Harold Calderon on the co-main. That was pretty eventful, but then it kind of looked one-sided. Um, I could have been even on that one. I could have said, "Yo, put this guy away," but dude kept it technical. The upset though was for the IBF Intercontinental Female Bantamweight titles, the Super Bantamweight titles, where Alejandra Guzman beat Ramala Ali. Man, Ramla Ali. I mean, Ramla was undefeated. Ramla got put down twice in that fight. She got put down once, flew back, got back up, but the second time she got knocked out with a flush left hook. Oh my god! In like the 10th, the eighth round. It was a 10 round fight. In the 8th round, she got rocked. But Ramla started off good footwork and movement, but if she had kept it technical, she would have been fine. But because she kept on moving like a lunatic, like she was technical 1 minute, sprawled out the next minute, really awkward. Um, Try to brawl and fight in the pocket. I don't understand why if you're a technical fighter, if you've never been fighting, if you never really fought in the pocket against a power puncher uh like Guzman, why would you bother? She did. She paid for it later in the fight, and she got knocked out. Alejandro wins. Can't get mad at that. Jeremy Hill knocked out Mark Davis Jr. Well, actually, yeah, they kind of called it. Dude got beat up. It was an 8 round fight. He lost in the fourth. Jeremy Hill dropped him. TKO. Um, that dude got beat up. He came in, looked good, all right. He looked all right in the first round. Then after that, it was pretty much like, yeah, he's getting being beat the hell up. We gotta pull him out. They didn't pull him out soon enough until he lost. Um, that was what was going on with boxing. On the MMA side of last week's fights, we had the PFL, we had Bellator, and we had UFC. We also had one kickboxing, of course. Those fights deliver per usual. But hold on. Let me get into this PFL scenario. The PFL 5 took place on Friday. That was okay. Um, Long card. It was the heavyweights. Um, the heavyweights and the women featherweights. Well, a couple of the heavyweights that I looked forward to are not competing on the card. So it's kind of like I kind of checked out of it. Plus, I really wanted to see the Bellator card, so I was like, I can always come back and get the Bellator, the PFL on stream before the semifinals happen. So we had a split decision, the opening fights. Isaiah Pinson beat Denzel Freeman by split decision. Um, Jordan Heiderman came in to fill in against Patrick Brady. A bad knee injury happened in the first round, so Jordan Heiderman won. Um, Olena Kolesnik pretty much technically beat her opponent, Yuko Higashi, my fault. Unanimous decision. Olena pretty much defend takedowns, move around, kickbox. That was it. Now that Elena's training in Extreme Couture to improve her wrestling, which was somewhat of a hindrance before, she came out really good in this fight. Big props to little stocky, um, strong striker there, Elena. So she did really good. Finesse her kickboxing, do some really good mix up good combination shots, good heavy shots, defended takedowns. He actually being a good judo practitioner. Couldn't really get much off. Julia Budd beat Martina Jindrova. Julia Budd, you know her bread and butter. She got kickboxing. She brought her kickboxing. Her kickboxing is a lot more technical. Um, Mixes it up with some good takedowns, and she had really good top position. That's it. That's her clear bread and butter for the most part. She got nasty straight punches. She throws a nice body kicks. She's like a female Luke Rockhold, but not as much aggression. You know, Rockhold used to finesse things. Then when he used to click, prime Luke Rockhold used to click. He throw the banger of the left. People go to sleep. Yeah, something like that. But Julia Budd don't have that necessary aggression like that. She just finesses her way through fights for the most part. That was that. Marcelo Nunes, he knocked out Danilo Marquez. This was a heavyweight fight. First round finish. Danilo, I kind of picked this. I picked this on Tapology. Um, Pretty good site. You can make your picks, play with folks on the out there. But yeah, Nunes came in pretty much. They boxed a little bit. Danilo tried to grapple a little bit. They tried to wrestle. It wasn't working. Nunes was not trying to play on the ground at all. Nunes pretty much, Marcelo wasn't having it. Let's just say that. And it looked like the inevitable was happening. Also, Marquez looks horrible as a heavyweight. That man's whole beer belly is out there. And he just looked like in no shape to be dealing like a dude like Marcelo. And Marcelo knocked this dude the hell out. Had him against the cage, tagged him a little bit. Marquez didn't know where to move, and he got blitzed up, knocked out. That was it. Um, that's a quick six. Quick six. Jordan Heidemann gets a quick 6 too because you get 3 points in the fight, for the fight. And you get 3 extra points if it's a first round finish, 2 extra points if it's a second round finish, 3 extra points if it's, 1 extra point if it's a third round finish. But if it goes to a decision, you just stick with 3 points. So yeah, gotta describe that real quick. If you don't know PFL. Marina Mokhnatkina out of Russia, she wins against Evelyn Martin. So Marina gets 3 points. This was pretty much, I'm going to wrestle you. I'll punch a little bit. Wrestle takedowns. She does the Kayla Harrison thing, minus the aggression. I don't get it. Dennis Goltsov. Golly, man. Knocked out my dude, Yorgan De Castro. First round knockout. Just knocked this dude flat. It was like a straight right hand, I think it was. Knocked this dude Yorgan out. His feet literally he fell. His feet were in the air, I think, if I remember correctly, and then just dropped. He was gone. It was insane. But it was wow. Wow by Dennis Goltsov. I think now that the people are like folks have been Bruno Capoloza and Fakhreddine, I think it is. Those two guys are out. The only threat is the last year's champ, Ante Delija. Goltsov has the opportunity. to win this year's championship. Aspen Ladd, she beat Carolina Sobek, second round submission armbar. This was a good fight. Sobek was very competitive. Sobek managed to piece up Aspen Ladd. Actually dropped Aspen Ladd in the first round, if I remember correctly. She came guns blazing and actually came damn near to a first round finish, but credit to Aspen Ladd. She been on her mouthpiece, kept the fight going. Got the takedowns, necessary takedowns. Got a little bit of control here and there. So Beck wasn't trying to give up that control. Eventually, though, Aspen got on top. Aspen beat her up a little bit. Aspen said, "Yo, we're gonna go for it." Armbar. She got the win. Biagio Ali Walsh had his showcase fight. Got a first round finish against Travell Miller. That was just straight one way traffic, man. Ali Walsh washed that dude. Renan Ferreira beat Matthias Scheffel. Knockout. That was one way traffic as well. Renan Ferreira, I thought Scheffel would be smart enough to, keep this fight at a distance with the kicks and then engage. Nah, he ran into something fierce. Ferreira finished him. Same thing with the next fight there, man. Larissa Pacheco fighting Amber Leibrock. Oh, God. So the Renan Ferreira fight only lasted 50 seconds. The Larissa Pacheco fight only lasted 45. And you could watch both fights in their entirety on social media. Pacheco, goddamn. Amber is a good fighter. She trains in Extreme Couture. Decent level wrestling. Good striking, but long, rangy. The thing is that a lot of rangy fighters have a tendency of moving kind of slow. Larissa Pacheco took full advantage of that. Kept every one of those strikes tight. Defense tight, offense tight. Right in her face. Did not let her breathe not 1 second. And blitzed the crap out of Amber to get that first round finish. Quick 6. Larissa Pacheco moving up. I think she's like the head of the leaderboard right now. And then we had the main event. Ante Delija versus Maurice Green, which went to us a unanimous decision win for Ante. Maurice Green actually lasted and did pretty good, but it was just the takedowns. Takedowns kind of yo, what's up, bro? Takedowns kind of slowed down the Crochet boss, and yeah, that was it pretty much. It was just a takedown around, good striking between the two. Like Ante found his straight his path to victory and he stuck to it. Kind of crazy to see him get pieced up a little bit by Maurice Green, but he managed to wrestle. So, and that was that, man. So that was the PFL card. So that left us with the Bellator card on Friday. Bellator card. The prelims were on YouTube, so you can check those prelims out. Prelims were pretty fun. Prelims were fun. Main card was entertaining until that main event because my guy lost. But quick run through. Cody Law beat Edwin Chavez, unanimous decision. Go American Top Team. Jordan Newman continued his undefeated record as he locked up an Americana for the first round finish against Matthew Perry. That's that big boy wrestling game. Archie Colgan got a unanimous decision win against longtime veteran Emmanuel Sanchez. I was very surprised by that one. But Emmanuel needed a win. And Archie for hard fought win. Eddie Sanchez is now on a 5-fight losing streak. I don't know if he's gonna stay in, if he's gonna still be there in Bellator or not. That's a good name. He's been in it for a while, but damn, he's on that losing streak. But he hasn't lost to no slouches. Some of the best. Archie's undefeated now at 8-0, and Bellator picked him up a good prospect in Archie. Looking forward to seeing what he does next. Norbert Noveni Jr. beat Kamil Onishuk. Onishuk. There you go. Onishuk. With a straight right hand to hammer fist. Norbert Noveji is known as a jiu-jitsu guy. He knocked out the striker with a straight right hand and hammer fist. Bruh. Bellator, dog. Robzon, so he's undefeated, 7-0. Ramazan Kuramagomedov out of Russia beat Jalil Willis with a first round finish, knee and ground punches for the TKO. You know how hard it is to beat Jalil Willis? You came in your debut and you finished him. Wow. Gadzi Rabadanov beat Pieter Buist by unanimous decision. That's cool. Oh yeah, that Ramazan dude is undefeated now. Still continues to be undefeated at 11-0. Gokhan Sarakam. This was open the main card. He beat Daniel James by unanimous decision. These were both of these guys slinging. They were slinging heat in the first round. Sarakam, I think, kind of got hotter with his strikes the more the fight went. But he had the takedowns. He managed to take down James, and James didn't really have an answer. He thought James was going to rally hard in the third round. Not quite. Gokhan wins. Corey Anderson fought Phil Davis. Corey Anderson got a split decision win against Phil Davis. If there's a fight that I recommend you watch, is this fight right here. It will probably be this fight in the co-main. Yeah, in total. Off the main card, Corey Anderson and Phil Davis had a freaking slobber knocker of a wrestling event, of a wrestling type match. This is all MMA because they were both striking, they both grappled, but the scrambles between these two, phenomenal. You got to understand, Phil Davis is a Division 1. Yo, okay, now you over here. Good. He's a Division 1 wrestler from Penn State. The accolades are major. He's in the UFC. He's one of the top guys. He came to Bellator, won the title. You see, Corey Anderson came in a few years later. And Corey Anderson's, he also has some wrestling accolades himself. But to see Corey Anderson out wrestle Phil Davis was crazy. To work Phil Davis was crazy. I'm like, wow. That joint was nuts. And big props to Corey because Corey managed to box up Phil Davis. He managed to scramble with Phil Davis, out wrestle Phil Davis, get the split decision. Yeah, and I think it came down to what he managed to do in the third round. The third round, he just went to punch the pace on Phil. And that's what managed to get him the win. So, big props to Corey Anderson. The co-main event there, Sergio Pettis fought Patricio Pitbull. And a lot of people thought this was going to be a difficult fight for Sergio. I mentioned last week that Sergio Pettis, if a big win here, Sergio is going to be that guy outside the UFC. And with Patricio locks up a legacy with him being a 3 division champ. With that said, Sergio took it to Patricio Pitbull. There's few guys that can make Patricio Pitbull look the way he looked on Friday. And Sergio Pettis has managed to put himself as one of those guys. Patricio looked good. And Patricio normally moves pretty fast. Big power. But Patricio threw a hell of a lot of right hands. He was landing big time with the right hand. Whether it's the overhand right, the straight right, or the hook. And Pettis just managed to eat the punches. And they didn't really make it look like they were bothering him much. I don't know if it's because Patricio cut the weight, but or if the power diminished, or is it just that Sergio's chin is like that? But Sergio ate those shots. And then Sergio threw right back. And with the combination of speed and how he disguised some of his shots and his varied attack combinations, Patricio had no answer. Patricio even got taken down. Patricio did get a takedown, if I remember. But Pettis had got like 2 takedowns on him. Fainted on him. Danced on him with the footwork. Patricio had no answer. A unanimous decision went for Sergio Pettis. And Pitbull laying there on his knees, just looking at the ground like, for a second, I thought he was gonna say, yo, I'm gonna retire. But I don't think Patricio expected that type of work from Sergio. Patricio looked so great as a featherweight. He looked, when he was fought Michael Chandler, great as a lightweight. Well, he looked good as a real good. He looked good as a lightweight, especially considering he beat Michael Chandler. Looks phenomenal as a featherweight. But man, that dude, even though he had the body frame and all that, he looked regular as a bantamweight. Pettis made him look regular. And Patricio's like what? He's like 35 or something like that right now. 35, 36. No, Patricio still got time in the sport. Still got time. A lot of time in the sport. But it's like, bruh, what we doing? What we doing here? You know? So I'm like, amazing. Just amazing. We'll see who Sergio. Oh, yeah, Sergio going to fight Patchy Mix next. I was going to say, who's he going to fight next? Patchy Mix is out there. That'll be his next fight. God bless. Because now Patchy's going to have a size advantage over him. And he's going to have that crazy size, reach, and that jiu-jitsu. And if there's anything that bothered Sergio in the past, it was the wrestler, the heavy-duty grappler. We'll see what happens, man. But the main event there was Vadim Nemkov beating Yoel Romero in the main event. Yoel had some moments, not many. But this was a clear-cut win for Vadim Nemkov. My dude Yoel Romero, man, has fought a plethora of who's who. UFC. He had a brief stint in Strikeforce. Now he's in Bellator. Had the 2 wins to get this title opportunity. Looked so plain, man, against Vadim Nemkov. Didn't really go for the wrestling. Had the explosive striking, but he didn't use it often. Vadim pretty much pieced this guy up with some brutal shots, especially in the later rounds. Made this man Yoel look so plain. You know, I root for Yoel. I've been rooting for Yoel for a long time, man. I felt bad seeing Vadim beat this guy up like that. But he did. He beat him up. Pieced him up with the 1-2s, leg kicks. He did everything he needed to do to him on the feet. That was it. Vadim retains. I don't know who's gonna be next up. Is Corey Anderson making Corey Anderson making that statement against Phil Davis? Might get an opportunity at the rematch. I look forward to it. But yeah. And then we had the UFC Fight Night card. This took place 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We had about 12 fights. Yep. So quick run through. Modestas Bukauskas fought Zach Pauga. Modestas wins. Pauga lost. Good back and forth fight. Zach Pauga's IQ though was kind of weird because Zach was landing some good shots. He put a little bit of good clinch work against the cage, but for some odd reason he was running head first into some of these punches that Bukauskas was throwing, some of these strikes, and he got tagged because this man would leap into the strike. If you guys remember a while ago, Zach Pauga leapt into a straight hand of Muhammad Usman and got knocked the hell out. If that was the case, why would you do that in this fight? And he kept on eating crazy shots from Modestas. And Modestas won. Unanimous decision. I'm not even mad at it. Because I thought Zach was doing good. But then I thought about it while watching and said, this motherfucker kept running into these strikes. He ran into quite a bit of strikes. He even ran and was off, lost his footing trying to throw some of these strikes because Bukauskas just stepped off the center line. Like, weird. But the judging was weird on this card too. We had Ronnie Lawrence fighting Daniel Argueta. Oh yeah, this wasn't even the judge's fault. This was the ref's fault. They were wrestling. They were boogieing in the opening round. Daniel Argueta started to get his footing. Ronnie kind of messed up. Defended. Daniel defended. Got his head. Looked like he was going for a Doris. Ronnie was trying to get back his footing to get the takedown. Daniel managed to lock up the neck. Looked like he had a guillotine. There was a rollover. Ronnie was on his back. Argueta had the guillotine still there. And Goofy Keith Peterson looked at this dude, seen the hand, pulled this dude's arm back. This dude moved his arm back. And he thought that Ronnie tapped. And called it a submission win for Daniel. Then said, oh, nah, I thought he tapped. My bad. Ends up being a no contest. So both guys get the show bonus, but nobody gets the win bonus. No nonsense, Keith Peterson. And props to Dominic Cruz, because Dominic could have chewed him out, but he didn't. He was very reserved, because he could have. Teresa Bleda beat Gabriela Fernandez. This fight was pretty straightforward. Teresa struck a little bit. Gabriela struck. It struck a little bit. Teresa got the takedown. Teresa's a big 125er. Young girl too, but big. So she managed to get the takedowns in the first two rounds. Then it was the third round that Gabriela just came out. She said, she went balls to the wall and just started striking and lit up Teresa, man. Oh my God, she lit Teresa up. If that was showing up more in the first two rounds, then we would have had a situation. But Gabriela was throwing, landed some ill-ass striking combinations, the kicks, the punches, man. Oh my God. But Teresa managed to get another takedown. When she got that takedown, deflated. That was it, man. Managed to get back up a little bit, but Teresa wins unanimous decision. I want Gabriela Fernandez to fight a striker. Whoever fights striker, she got to fight at 125. Let her fight that striker at 125, damn it. I would like to see Gabriela Fernandez fight Larissa Pacheco. Yeah, do that. Do that. We can have that 125. I don't give a shit. Um, we had Carlos Hernandez versus Dennis Bondar. This was a good fight. I don't know what the hell's wrong with Dennis Bondar. Dennis Bondar was out for a while because he had an injury. He came back. He fought this fight really weird. Okay, the first round, but the second and third round, Hernandez picked up and just pieced up Dennis Bondar, man. Pieced this dude up. Um, Dennis was looking really awkward. Eventually, they got caught up in the third round. Hernandez got him in a waist lock, went for the throw. They threw down. He threw him down, and due to a slight clash of heads, while Hernandez was throwing him down, Bondar got knocked out technically, and then Dennis um ended up eating 7 elbows, unanswered elbows. Hernandez was throwing them shits. Boy, he went down. He was knocked out. Then this dude Hernandez just kept throwing elbows. Boom, boom, boom. Before that, though, there was a situation where Dennis Bondar blatantly threw a knee while Carlos Hernandez was on the ground. Hernandez was on the ground. Both points were on the ground, so he was a downed opponent. And Bondar dead looked at him and threw his knee at him. Wilding. So a lot of people felt that slam and those extra elbows, were needed. But because of the head clash, it didn't count as a finish for Hernandez. They went on the points, on the scorecards, and Hernandez lost out on a performance bonus. Got his win, though, on a decision. Kyung Ho Kang. Yeah, for Christian Quinones. Hell of a scrap. But Kyung Ho Kang showed he got hands. He dropped Christian Quinones, put that jiu-jitsu on him, submission win, first round submission, rear naked choke. Kyung Ho Kang came to play. Quinones is a striker, very fast guy. Comes in guns blazing, and he guns blazed and threw some shots, but tried to blitz and just got caught, man. Kang caught him with a left, I think it was. No. Was it left or right? He caught him with a clean shot that just dropped the shit out of Quinones. Then he ran, got the takedown, and then went for the submission. Can't play with Kang, man. Kang been out for a little bit, but Kang came back with a vengeance. Good job. Alessandro Costa got a performance bonus as he defeated Jimmy Flick with ground and pound in the second round. I like Jimmy Flick. But I think Jimmy Flick got to go back to the regional circuit, man. Jimmy Flick was out for a while. Jimmy Flick came back. He lost to Energy, Charles Johnson. And this was him coming back from that loss. And boy, he got his legs kicked. He got pieced up. And all he could do was not really strike, but attempt to go for takedowns. He got no takedowns. And when he's getting pieced up, he's going for desperation single legs. And y'all know how I feel about the desperation single leg. What the hell are you going to do with a desperation single leg? Come on, man. Dude, Costa kept kicking his lead leg, pop shotting him. His man fell, got ugly, got lit up. He went, grabbed, Costa broke, landed some shots, ground and pound, finished Jimmy Flick. Sad, man, sad. Good win for Costa, but damn, Flick, damn. Nicholas Dalby and Muslim Salikov had a good back and forth. Dalby ends up winning by unanimous decision. The gas tank showed up for Dalby this time around, man. As the fights got deeper, he got stronger. He pushed the pace on Muslim. I thought Muslim would be a lot better, just using the striking a bit and trying to get some anti-wrestling in there. But Dalby just crushed through some things. Dalby ate some shots, though, boy. But then Dalby made Muslim take some shots. But shit, man. Good win for Dalby, though. Manuel Torres for Nicholas Mota. You guys probably seen on social media already. Manuel Torres may have top 3 KO of the year for 2023 already. This man went. Him and Mota was standing. He scrapped. Torres put the pressure and knocked him. Mota engaged. Torres looked and said, cool. And stepped in with a nasty left elbow. You heard the smack, the echo. This joint hit so hard that Mota got knocked out mid-fall, and it literally put him in the sleeping position. You know when you turn over in your bed and you just sleeping on your right side? Almost like how characters look when they fall in Family Guy. That's what Nicholas Mota looked like. That joint was crazy. One of the most insane things I've seen in quite some time. My God. Manuel Torres, man. He ended up being an ESPN highlight, social media highlight, 50G bonus winner. Awesome stuff. My dude, Pat Sabatini. 145 fight against Lucas Almeida, man. Got a second round submission. Pat Sabatini came to play. He lost his last fight against Damon Jackson. He came in against Lucas Almeida here, who Almeida was 14-1, coming off the big one against Mike Trizano. And Pat Sabatini, he came for the smoke. He was prepared. He got in there. He got a takedown. He had some ground and pound. Almost finished Lucas Almeida with the ground and pound. You know, he was punching, but then he started throwing these elbows. Ooh, he bloodied up Almeida's face. Second round came. He said, we're going right back to the same thing. Hot takedown. Find a position before submission. Locked up the side. Arm triangle. Second round. That's it. Pat Sabatini, baby. Let's go. Armin Petrosian and Christian Leroy Duncan had a fight. Petrosian won because Petrosian was a little bit more seasoned in the cage in the UFC. Leroy Duncan has good potential, but Leroy Duncan was a goofball, and I'm kind of glad I picked Petrosian in this fight. I had Petrosian here. Actually, I had Petrosian. I had Sabatini. I thought Mota and Salikov would do something. Flick. Kang, I had Kang. Did I have Bondar? I think I had Bondar. I had Bleda. I had Argueta. Yeah. But moving up in this card, I definitely had these last 3. But yeah, Armin Petrosian, aggressive style. Christian Leroy Duncan had more of the finesse style of kickboxing, that is. Guys both have championships respectively. Christian was doing a lot more showboating than fighting, and he was getting pieced the hell up. Armin Petrosian did exactly what he had to do. He took away the legs and kept it mostly with the strikes, with the punches. When you use punches against a striker, a kickboxer, you're taking away the opponent's kicking. So, with Petrosian knowing this, Petrosian do his kicks when he needed to, kept a lot of it with the punches. So it forced Christian Leroy to move backwards instead. And when they ended up being face-to-face, Leroy didn't know how to handle that. It's either you got to move sideways or you got to try to engage with the hands. and we seen that his hands weren't as good as Armin's. So Armin took advantage of that. They fought against the cage. Armin kind of took a little bit of advantage of that. He did really good. I think even Petrosian got a takedown. Um, I was worried about that. I thought this would be more of a stand-up fight between the two, but Armin got his takedowns. He pretty much ruled the fight. Big props. Armin Sarukian fought Joaquin Silva. Joaquin Silva. That was a good fight. You know, late notice for Silva. Silva did make this entertaining because Armin came in, good mix up of striking and takedowns. Second round got a little shaky though. Joaquin Silva had put this man Armin on rocky ground. He caught Armin with a nasty right hand that had Armin in all sorts of trouble. Problem is, he gave Armin space to get a takedown. The takedown came in. The takedown allowed Armin to recover. The third round came. Armin managed to do the same thing after the mix-up of strikes. Except this time around, Armin turned up, and Armin got the finish. Ground and pound. Stop Silva. Brutal finish. Big job for Armin. But damn, Armin, don't put nobody through that scare again. Because Jesus Christ, you can't have situations like that in short notice. And then the main event was Jared Cannonier versus Marvin Vettori. And I mentioned Marvin Vettori being a tough dude to finish. And boy, was that true. Although I didn't think this fight was going to be as one-sided. Jared Cannonier wins this fight by unanimous decision. But boy, oh boy, did Marvin Vettori look so regular in this fight. I mentioned I didn't like the way he looked against Roman Dolidze in his last fight. And that's what had me pick Cannonier for this fight. Jared Cannonier. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm going to pull this stat up because this is going to be crazy. Jared Cannonier landed 241 of 411 significant strikes. 241 were significant. The total strikes from Jared Cannonier, I said 241 of 411 significant strikes. His total strike count was 257 landed of 428. What was impressive was that Marvin Vettori landed 153 of 301 of significant. And his total strikes was 154 of 302. Jared Cannonier had 4 of 6 takedowns. Marvin had 1. And the control time was 28 seconds. Bruh. Jared Cannonier broke a record for single signature strikes in a 5-round event in the middleweight division. That is insane. And Marvin Vettori nearly dropped and finished this man in the first round. And this dude snapped and said, yo, I'm going to obliterate this dude. I thought Marvin Vettori was done in the second round. I picked the third round finish. And this joint went to a decision. Jared Cannonier has improved greatly. Marvin Vettori has to sit back and reassess where he's at and where he needs to go moving forward. Because Marvin's a tough dude, but nobody's beating Marvin Vettori like that. in the UFC or in his career ever. And this dude got lit up, cut up, beat up. So much so, if you could find that fight on YouTube or any other site, Dewey Cooper was like, you. Dewey Cooper's cornerman skills were A1. He throwing that right hand like a motherfucker. You can't be eating all them shit. Yo, Dewey Cooper had me rolling, but he did not tell a lie. Marvin was eating way too many shots in those first two rounds. First two. Especially that second round. He was eating too many of those shots, too many of those right hands. This dude's striking defense was non-existent through this whole fight. Never taking your head off the center line. Trying to move punches, but you're only walking. You're walking away from the. You're walking off the center line, but you're not moving your head off the center line. Man got lit up. Marvin's the dude who's has a good chin, amazing heart. But his skills are good. They're not great. They're not extraordinary. It's because he has that cardio, that chin, and that heart that managed to get him to get those fights and fight the way he fights. This is going to be a big learning experience for Marvin Vettori moving forward, man. I don't know who Jared Cannonier going to fight next. But, man, I wish he would have fought this way against Israel Adesanya. So, that leaves us with this week's fights. This week's events. Now, this week's events are going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. UFC, we got Josh Emmett versus Ilia Topuria, which will be very fun. We got one fight in championships, I know. There's the Ryzen event. Some LFA going on. There's Aries fighting championship if you got UFC Fight Pass. Yeah, you can check out Aries regional joints. On Aries fighting, I'll give you a heads up on that though. I know people just like to watch the big shows, but you can check out Aries fighting regional joint. Interesting enough, they have tough winner and longtime MMA veteran Efrain Escudero fighting in the main event. Fighting an undefeated dude out of Italy. Not Italy, France, my bad. Lord. Baisangor Chamsudinov. There you go. They call him Baki for short. Oh, shoot. Baki, the grappler. Out of MMA Factory. That's what that dude, Ferdinand. Was it Ferdinand? This Cyril Gane's coach. He trains with the same gym as Cyril Gane. Daigor Imavov versus Geraldo de Freitas. Let's see who's up in here. I don't know a lot of these guys, but there's a lot of from the records. They look like a couple competitive matchups. A couple low level joints. I won't lie. But yeah, but getting up into the main card, it looks okay. The last four fights look really matched up competitive wise. Then the rest of them look okay. It should turn up though. A lot of Italy versus the world we see pretty much for most of the fights here. But Efrain Escudero is a very interesting name. I haven't seen that dude fight in quite some time. But he gets where he can get. You know? Efrain 37 with a record of 32-16. This man has doubled his losses in wins. You know? And he's never been knocked out, so give him credit. He's only been submitted twice in his career. He's been only finished twice in his career. So give that credit. That's a tough thing to do. To go in, in your MMA career and only get finished twice, fighting this long, fuck. But yeah, Efren Escudero, Godspeed, man. Mexican pride. Let's go. Like to see how he does. LFA got their card going on. For the flyweight championship, Corey Davis versus Igor Sekira. Yeah, let's see what this PFL card is striking on. So PFL 6, man, is gonna be on Friday. I'll be streaming that on OK Live. So if you're trying to watch a fight, there's an app, OK Live. Check it out. Pretty dope. Yeah, this card will start at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's 3 p.m. Pacific. That's the prelims. And the main card will start at 10 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Pacific. I'll be sure. I don't know if we're gonna be doing the Cope's Corner show this weekend, but I hope so. This Friday. I hope so. I hope we do. If not, then I'll just be streaming this straightforward. Oh, my fault. But yeah, this will be the middleweight. No, the middleweights. Jesus Christ. The lightweight and welterweight portion of these tournament fights. We got Abdullah Al-Qadi. Katani. There you go. Versus Lamar Brown. Katani's 5-1. Lamar Brown is 4-1 at lightweight. We got Brazan Zurcher. Okay, Zurcher. Brian Zurcher. Okay, good. He's 5-0. Fighting Mike Bardsley, who's undefeated at 3-0. So someone's always got to go at this Showcase 145 fight. Hey, Al-Salawi. Yes. He comes back. Jarrah Hussein Al-Salawi took a hard loss his last fight, right? Sada Bousi got him in the finish. He's ate 2 finishes. Well, he got finished last season, but Sada Bousi finished him this season. Sada Bousi just looked real fucking good. All jokes aside. His takedown defenses look pretty good, and his striking is really world class. Hell of a talent outside the UFC, I'm saying. But Al-Salawi will be fighting Solomon Renfro. I'm interested in Renfro. Renfro was fighting 155. Now he's fighting at 170. Yeah. He has 2 wins here. He's coming in to take a spot. We'll see how he does. Renfro. Renfro was touted to come into the UFC a while back, but he took a bad loss that kind of halted those plans. And we'll see if he can bounce back here and see how he does here in the PFL. We got Alex Martinez at 155 against Bruno Miranda. Bruno's a heavy hitter. Martinez is a little bit of a mix of everything. He's a good striker with range. He has good footwork, but he could grapple. His grappling is really underrated. He's used it to mess with the heads of quite a couple fighters here in the PFL. So I really want to see how he does. Miranda trains out of Tiger Muay Thai, which can spell some trouble. Also, this man has 9 wins by knockout or technical knockout. And he's riding a 6-fight wave. Boy, oh boy. Plus, he got that nice unanimous decision win in his debut here for the PFL. We'll see how he does. The Natan Schultz versus Raush Manfio. Natan Schultz is a 2-time PFL champion. Raush Manfio was a winner of the 2022 or the 2021 PFL? I want to say the 2022. 2021 or 2022? Yeah, 2021. It can't be 2022. OEM won last year, so it's 2021 because Schultz got injured. He filled in. They gave him a bullshit win against Clay Collard, where Collard should have won. Yeah, I remember. So Manfio won. So the two-time champions will fight the last year's 2021's champion. Should be an interesting matchup. Roush could strike. Natan Schultz could strike. Nashawn Schultz is the stronger grappler. We'll see how it plays out. We got Danilo Taylor, who gave who sent Roy McDonald his walking papers against Carlos Leal. This is gonna be a striker's delight right here, man. Leal's a big body Brazilian, 18-4. Old, somewhat got an old school mentality to the sport. Um, old school's yeah mentality, but young guy, man. He's only lost by finish once. He's been finished once in his career. He has 3 losses by decision, 7 by KO TKO, 7 by decision, 2 by submission. Um, yeah, and he annihilated David Zawada. And you know Zawada was big time in the UFC. Couple losses, couple wins, but Zawada was big time, and he annihilated Zawada. Bad man. When I say bad, bad man. So but yeah, Delano Taylor. I said Danilo. Delano Taylor. There you go. Who magically showed up last year? The postman. He came in late notice. Um, yeah. You know, he lost to Magomed Karamov, beat Rory McDonald, and then he was gonna go into the finals. He got himself a spot into the finals, but lost to Sadabusi. Um, he came in this season and he lost to Umalatov. And Magomed Umalatov, that's that dude. You know, you got to do. You got the last. If the last name, the last 3 letters in the name is Mav or Tav or Dov, if it ends in OV, you got a problem. So, um, but yeah. So that's the prelims. The main card, Clay Collard fights Stevie Ray. Pivotal matchup here. Stevie Ray is a kickboxer out of Scotland, if I remember. Is it Scotland? I think it's Scotland. Um, who can strike, has leaned more towards his grappling game. He's going up against a heavy duty boxer. Super tough, Clay Collard, man. This is a do or die fight. And Stevie Ray talked about on social media that if he actually, I think he did talk about on MMA fighting too. If he can't get the win here, he's retiring. Um, he's been dealing with some issues. His daughter was in the hospital. He had to GoFundMe. Like a lot of other things. Plus, he's been doing this for quite a while, man. So, if when it's winner die somewhat for Stevie Ray, winner go home, literally. And Clay Collard, he's coming in. He's trying to get this. He was super close. He got robbed. He's trying to get somewhere big here, man. This should be a fun fight. We got the Magomed Umalatov, 170, the undefeated, against Naib Lopez, who's undefeated at 16-0. We're gonna scrap. This is gonna be fun. Let's go. Magomed Karamov. Oh fuck. Is gonna be fighting David Zawada. Yeah, Magomed Karamov is about to annihilate Zawada. Zawada's run is not gonna be fun. This is not fun. This is not fun. Zawada got cleaned by one Russian, and he's going to get annihilated by another. That is bad. Nicole Main, Shane Burgos is fighting Yamato Nishikawa at 155. Nishikawa got heavy hands, somewhat of a wrestling background too. Burgos, top featherweight here at 155. Had the bad showing against OAM, but it's OAM, damn it, at 155. OAM is big, beastly dude, heavy wrestler. I can't blame him, but we'll see. This fight should be fireworks. Shane Mitchell, who's 13-5, will be facing Sadabusi in the co-main event. This should be really good with the striking between the two. Shane will probably look for a little bit of takedowns. We'll see. Sadabusi, how much he's improving more with the takedown defense. Training a little bit in Extreme Couture, if I remember correctly, was where he was getting his wrestling in. Yeah. Yep. Correct. Extreme Couture. Haha. See, boy always got good memory. And yeah, we'll see how that handles up. And then we got Anthony Romero, who's 12-1 out of Canada versus OAM. Canada battle, man. Now Romero's 12-1. The genius, they call this guy. Really solid talent, 26 years old. Niagara top team. Hasn't been finished, only lost once by decision. A lot of his wins are by decision, which lets you know he's willing to work. Too bad he's fighting OAM, and that's another guy who's willing to work. And work he has, and work under some of the best. TriStar Gym guy, man. The Canadian gangster, boy. Crazy, crazy stuff. I don't know, man. A guy could work. It's either you're gonna get decisioned, you're gonna get subbed, or you're gonna end up with a surprise knockout, man. But that's gonna be that card. That card's gonna be fun. I like that. I like that card a lot. Oh no! Cancel. I almost took myself out of Restream. That's crazy. So that would be PFL's card. Oh shoot, hold on. Let's look at one real quick. One I'm not gonna talk a lot about. Because this is awkward. It's awkward because usually you would have it as a fight night card, but this one's gonna be taking place in the morning. So because they got to get the Indian fans, they're looking for a lot of the Indian fans, the Middle Eastern fans. Arjan Buller is Middle Eastern descent, but also lives in Canada. I was gonna say Canadian. Wow. So we got a lot of good kickboxing and fight and mixed martial arts bouts. We got Sitsong Pinong versus Eddie Abasolo. Yes, Abasolo had a good win in his debut. Good knockout win. So I'm just going to point out the fights that you should pay attention to on this morning card. So watch that. That's going to be a Muay Thai bout. 154-pound Muay Thai bout. We got Saiksan or Kwan Moang fighting Nathan Brendan at a 140-pound Muay Thai bout, catchweight bout. The 154 will be like a lightweight, somewhat of a catchweight bout as well, I should say. Akram Hamidi out of France will be fighting Jamhad Sempronwiat. Yeah, there you go. All right. We got Muang Thai PK Sanchai, who fought a little while ago against Nico Carrillo, who Nico fought a little while back on the Friday Fights card. This kid is freakish. Yeah, he fought literally a couple months ago, yeah. He got the third round finish after he was in a war with Karabakh. Oh my God. This was an epic fight. And then this dude just came out of nowhere, third round, and said, yo, throw it on the wall. Let's see what sticks. And boy, did he blast away and finish this dude, man. But that's going to be a really good bout. Then we got Prajanchai, my fault. Prajanchai, PK Sainchai versus Same Guangdao for the one vacant flyweight championship. High level kickboxing right here, Muay Thai kickboxing. Both the guys have about an accumulated win streak of over 200 to 300 fights. Yes, Muay Thai bouts do. Muay Thai fighters have those types of records. Yeah, crazy. Um, Hell of a lot of experience between these two. I look forward to it. But we have the main event. And the main event is between Arjan Buller, I just mentioned, who was 11-1, against Anatoly Malikin, who's undefeated at 12-0. Arjan Buller won the title, beating Brandon Vera back during 2020, I think it is, or 2021. I want to say 2020, but it could be 2021. Yeah, 2021. See? 2021, he beat Brandon Vera. He won the title. Since then, due to an injury and a lot of politics, he hasn't defended the title. We're in July. No, we're in June. My fault. Ooh. We're a little over 2 years from since this stuff happened. He could have fought last year. He didn't fight last year. He was supposed to fight earlier this year. Didn't do that. Since then, Anatoly's managed to fight a bunch of guys, fight and win the interim title, then take a fight against Renier de Ritter for Renier's light heavyweight title. Knocked out that dude, won his title. Now he's a double champ. If Arjan Buller loses this title, I don't think we see Arjan in one for long. Anatoly's a big dude. Not bigger than Arjan, though. Arjan, Malikin probably around 240. No. Interesting to see this because Arjan has a high level of wrestling, but Anatoly has a really, he's unnaturally strong. He has a little bit of a judo base, somewhat of a sambo base, nasty striking. This matchup is going to be fantastic. So catch that. That's going to be at 8:30 in the morning, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. To catch the whole card, yeah. The whole card will be on YouTube, so check it out for free on YouTube. You don't have to have. We don't have to have what you call it? You don't have to have Amazon Prime to watch it. You could just watch it on YouTube. So go on One Championship YouTube site, check it out. YouTube channel, check it out. But yeah, we also got the interim title fight. Well, I'll talk about fight news probably Sunday. I could do that this Sunday. Mention LFA. LFA. Okay, I did mention the LFA card, didn't I? LFA Aries you can catch on Fight Pass. But the LFA card starts at 10 o'clock. We got Cody Davis 7-1, Igor Sikiera 9-1 for the vacant flyweight championship. Renato Valente, who's 9-6, versus Adriano Rodriguez, who's 18-6-1 in the co-main event middleweight fight. Rafael do Nascimento, who's 8-2 versus Jordan Winsky, who's 12-4. Danny Silva, who's 6-1 versus Rafael Barbosa, who's 14-5. That's a featherweight fight. The fight before that I said between Nascimento and Winsky is 135, bantamweight. Giovanna Canuto, who's undefeated 4-0, will be fighting local standout Hillary Rose. Now Hillary Rose for the LFA, she fought in CFFC. I think she's fought in Massachusetts. Yeah, man. She's been around for a bit. She's been around. Interesting name. She's 6-6, but she's you know what I mean? She's been around. She's been around the sport for some time. She has a list of amateur bouts and pro bouts. So we say add in her pro bouts, her amateur bouts. She's had about 20 fights. Yeah, 20 fights. Um, yeah, 20 fights. And only 30, man. Trying to climb the ladder. It's kind of rough though. She's on a 2-fight losing streak. But she's fought to hear people, well, what's the biggest name she's fought? Would be Elise Reed. Because Elise Reed's in the UFC now. So, oh yeah, my fault. Cheyenne Velismas. There you go. It won't be Elise Reed, it'll be Cheyenne. Because everybody knows Cheyenne Velismas. She's popular for some good things, not so great things. But yeah, it'll be Cheyenne Velismas and then Elise Reed. Yeah. That's crazy. But yeah, Hillary Rose will be on this card. Pretty dope. She's primarily a boxer, super gritty boxer, in your face, all 3 rounds, no quit. We'll see how she does. We got Alex Valentino Argueta, who's Ortega. There you go, 4-1 versus Isaac Thomas, who's 4-1. Ooh, Jeffrey Craig 3-1. Sarek Shields, who's 4-1. All right, the rest of these are prelims, but those other fights, they sound entertaining. We got the Rising card. I don't know how y'all feel about Rising. We can go check that out. Rising's all right, but being up at 11:30, talking about 11:30 Friday night, be up extra in the morning. Talking about we're gonna watch some Rising. Y'all keep saying I'll try to tune into one of these joints. We'll see what happens Friday. We'll see what happens. But the main event for the Rising Fight Federation featherweight title is Kibler Koik Herbst, who's 31-6-1, fighting Chihiro Suzuki, who's 10-3. We got Yusuke Yachi, who's 24-13, versus Zach Zane, who's 15-14. Zach Zane is a product from Bellator. Dude fought for Bellator. He used to be on a lot of the Hawaii cards. Good talent, but just couldn't find his footing. So we'll see how he does here. Hideki Sakin, who's 12-6, versus Mikio Ueda, who's 1-1. What the fuck? It's a heavyweight fight. Yeah, that's weird. Hiroaki Suzuki, who's 12-3, fights Taisei Nishitani. We got a kickboxing bout. Genji Umino versus Hiroki Suzuki. Minoru Kimura. We'll be fighting a kickboxing bout against Daryl Lokoku. That's interesting. Kimura is the dude that trained with Vanderlei Silva, Vanderlei Silva's protege, They got knocked out by Charles Bennett a while back. I think Minoru fought they had a rematch. If I remember, I think Minoru had a rematch. I could be wrong. Let me check before I start talking crap. Yeah, he lost to Charles Bennett. They were supposed to fight in a rematch, and then rematch never was made. Yeah, it got canceled. That's what happened. So he never really got to fight that fight. But since then, he fought some mixed well, he fought very few mixed martial arts bouts, but just stuck to the kickboxing realm. And so far, been really, really strong, man. Really, really strong. So Minoru Kimura, it's 161 against Daryl. We might have to check this out. You got Yuka Kubo, who's 1-1 against Taiki Kinoshita, who's 6-1. Saori Oshima versus Haraku Hasegawa. That's a women's bout. Suguru Ni, who's 14-12-0 versus Tateo Ida, who's 12-6-2. Tetsuya Seki, who's 5-9-1 versus Raiki Endo, who's 15-11-5. Shit, there's a lot of main card fights. Trent Girdham versus Joji Goto at 134. Marina Kumagai, who's 3-4, versus Aoki Kuriyama. Yeah, Kuriyama. Okay, and then we have a Kensei Yamakawa Aya versus Ryoga Hirano. And those weight classes kind of float up in between. But the matchups look pretty damn good. Uh, uh, but yeah, that's the Rising card. That's 11:30 p.m. Eastern. 8:30 p.m. Pacific. Oh, I was gonna say specific. Ooh, I was gonna look like a real goofball. Well, sound like a real goofball. And then on Saturday we got 2 boxing fights. 3. Shit. There's a WBA super flyweight fight between Kazuto Ioka versus Joshua Franco. That's gonna be in Japan. There's Carlos Adames versus Julian Williams for the WBC interim middleweight title. Then for the super middleweight fight, there's the Edgar Berlanga versus Jason Quigley fight. That's gonna be in Madison Square. Berlanga looking kind of iffy, trying to get back into that polish. We'll see how well he does, because it's been a while. We see what he improves in. The Ioka Franco fight should be a banger of a fight, and Adames Williams, that'll be pretty alright. I'll get a little bit more in depth with those. Hopefully, if I get to join the talk of the talk with the guys at Late Night Parent, Mr. Ted Hicks, Senor Tony D, and whoever's gonna be on, whether it's Brian, whether it's Glick, the Glickster, or whether it's whoever man. Um, Check those guys out. It's on Thursdays. Thursdays 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Jesus God. Yeah, man, really good conversations with those dudes about random stuff, sports stuff, whether it's sports, whether it's life, everyday things, politics, whatnot. It's an open book when you go on there, man. It was a fun time. Then we got this joint on Saturday. Now this card is interesting because this card starts off at 12. This will be 12 o'clock noon, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And this card will be on ABC. So this is a free card for the most part. As Josh Emmett faces Ilya Topuria. Now I need to go in real quick because we need to talk a little more in depth. Because this is a big deal. Now, why is this a big deal? This either becomes Ilya Topuria's arrival party for real, where we cheer for him, or if you're cheering for Josh Emmett, this is him pushing back another young contender, or a possible swan song for Josh Emmett. But I'll get back to that real quick. Now, the card is made up of 14 fights. So that means if this joint, 14 fights. This joint will be loaded up. So 12 noon will be the prelims. That means, 3 p.m. is the main card. 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific is the main card. There you go. So 14 fights. Let's get into it. The opening bout, we got Cody Brundage, 8-4, versus Cedric Dumas, who's 7-1. Cedric had his debut, lost to Josh Fremd. Was butthurt about it. All good. Cody Brundage had his fight last against Rodolfo Vieira. Entertaining bout in the first half, somewhat. Then he tried to pull guard and go for a guillotine against a jiu-jitsu black belt, which is insane, and ended up getting submitted his damn self. Both these guys coming from losses. Cody Brundage, my fault. Really good wrestler. Improving his striking with Factory X. Cedric Dumas, 7-1. We've seen the explosiveness regionally, and he kind of had it in the Fremd fight. But Fremd weathered it. He had the experience. He weathered it. He got a takedown. He beat him up a bit. Got a guillotine choke. Other than that, Dumas has a lot of explosive wins. He doesn't go to decision much. He has one decision, pro. But his amateur record, he has about three unanimous decisions. Three, you can say four unanimous decisions. So it's kind of interesting to watch and see. You see what he takes from that last fight and puts into this fight. I think it's the equal leverage. Somewhat walking into another fighter similar to Fremd. Well, Fremd had the range advantage, and Fremd had good jiu-jitsu. Brundage improved striking, and he has his wrestling. So we'll see how Dumas handles this. His second goal right here. Tatsuro Taira, the big grappler, undefeated, future flyweight champion. A lot of people say. I believe that too. He'll be going up against Clayton Rodriguez, who's 8-2. Rodriguez got his first UFC finish. Tore through. Who was the poor guy that he tore through his last fight? That's funny because I've talked about it and then I left it alone. There you go, Shannon Ross. Tore through poor Shannon Ross. And now he has to go through the grappling menace that's Tatsuro Taira so far. Rodriguez, good movement, big striking ability. We haven't seen his jiu-jitsu in the UFC. We've seen Tyra's wrestling and jiu-jitsu mix problematic, but the thing that's even crazy is that Tyra can strike. Not enough guys are forcing Tyra to strike like that. They fall into Tyra's striking plan and then get caught up in the jiu-jitsu and the grappling. So we'll see how Clayton Rodriguez handles. Good matchup at 145. Jamal Emmers fights Jack Jenkins. Emmers had a good return bout. Yeah, he had a good return bout against Hussein Ashkabov. Unanimous decision. Kind of goofed up on Hussein. Hussein didn't do much. He beat up Hussein. He took down Hussein. He pretty much did whatever he wanted to do until unanimous decision, where we had Jack Jenkins. And Jack Jenkins showed up, man. And so far, Jack Jenkins bought Don Shanis. Pretty much wrestled up on Don Shanis, but it was a back and forth fight. Shanis wasn't no slouch. Jenkins earned that win, but Shanis was game. Emmers is gonna do the same thing too. These are two guys who are pretty strong wrestling wise. Jenkins is a heavy guy on top though. He's more of a stocky build. Emmers is more of a rangier dude. But I think Emmers' experience may guide him through this one. Early prediction, I'll probably take Emmers. In the second bout, I'll take Tyra. I don't know about that opening bout though. Next fight, we got this dude named Chepe Mariscal facing Trevor Peek at 155. Now, Chepe Mariscal, I never heard of this dude in my life. Call him the Machine Gun. 30 years old. Trains on Elevation Fight Team. Oh boy. You know, if you're on Elevation Fight Team, you're known for your cardio. Boy, oh boy. This might be a handful. He's been knocked out 3 times, though. He's been stopped by strikes 3 times. That's telling. But he's been striking. He got 6 wins by finish. By 6 wins by strikes. 3 wins by submission. Interesting. 3-fight win streak. Ooh, he got a win against. No, he lost this one so young. He got finished by Steve Garcia. Beat by Joe Anderson Brito. He beat Yusuf Zalal. He won against split decision against Pat Sabatini. He got dogged by Bryce Mitchell. He lost to Gregor Gillespie. Damn, dude got some. He fought some guys. Okay. So I'll probably do some more visual research on him. Facing Trevor Peek. Trevor Peek got signed to the UFC back in 2022 or 2021? I want to say 2021. Please let me be right. Oh, shoot. It was 2022. Oh, God. It's 2022. Yeah, he had that debut fight for the Contender Series in 2022. Went back and forth. He got hurt bad, but then managed to come back with that Southern hospitality. Then he fought Eric Gonzalez in his official UFC debut, and he brought the noise, man. Jesus Christ, dude's been undefeated, and he had natural ability, but now since he's making money in the UFC, he's afforded the time to go to a gym. So he's been at a gym, man. My dude been training. He has his own workout place. He's going to train. This should be fun, man. We'll see what he does. The guy has an amazing chin. Hell of an awkward stand-up style. His strikes are random as hell. But I like Trevor Peek, man. We got Zala Zumagulov in the next fight against Joshua Van. Van's coming in a short notice, 7-1. Zalga Zumagulov, 14-8. been on a weird skid. Grew his hair out now. He looks like some type of Shaolin monk. Kind of crazy. Was it Kyrgyzstan? Um, is it Kyrgyzstan? Yeah, I think it's Kyrgyzstan. Is it Kyrgyzstan? What is it? It's Kyrgyzstan. I forget the country. Kazakh. Yeah, Kazakhstan. There you go, Kazakhstan. Um, but yeah, it's a little bit of a Russian Asian mix. So yeah, Zumagulov got good boxing skills, pretty decent wrestling, grappling skills. I don't know about Joshua Van, but if I could look at a record, I could probably get a good read. Let's check this record. The Fearless Joshua Van, France Fight Club. Yep, he got knockouts, he got submissions. No fights have gone to a decision. He's been submitted once. Yep, they know what they're doing. They're giving him equal field. Zalgas is getting equal level field. As far as competition goes, Zalgas can strike. We haven't really see KO power, but we see a lot of quick strikes. He can throw heavy though, and Van looked like he finishes folks. So this will be an underrated banger. We got Jillian Robertson at 115, second fight at 115 in the UFC against Tabitha Ricci. Talk about sexy lady fight. Ooh. Both of these ladies are high level grapplers. Um, really good skills. Robertson is for the list of who's who in the flyweight division. Coming down, she's managed to show that she still has that strength, that grappling strength. Ricci is short and stocky, but Ricci could bang, man. She's strong. She's pretty damn strong herself and could throw some pretty good strikes. I want to see how the grappling is gonna look between these two because Ricci does a lot of position holding, while Jillian Robertson does a lot of more work. She does a lot more work. She's a lot more aggressive in her approach to her grappling, where regardless of the position, she will look to pummel, bring the pain to try to get the opening for the submissions. Both like position over submission, and also see how their stand up look. But yeah, don't miss that fight. Don't miss that fight. That's a prelim bout. You miss it, I don't know what to say about you. Seven bout here. Mateusz Rebek. Yeah. Mateusz Rebecki fights Loik Radzhabov. Radzhabov had a good debut. Boy, oh boy. PFL standout. Came to the UFC just a little while ago. A lot of people didn't know about him. They learned. Man came in and beat Esteban Ribovics. Short notice. Easy work, man. Talk about handling a dude. Radzhabov has a chin. He could throw a heavy. He got cardio. He can wrestle. Chain wrestling mofo, man. Mateusz Rebecki, though. Wee, wee. Champion elsewhere. Came in. Fought the Contender Series and got a finish in the first round. Fought Nick Fiore and gave Nick Fiore the business, respectively. Gave him the business. Should be a good fight between these two dudes. Radzhabov, super wrestler. Rebecki looking for Polish power. We'll see what happens. We got Randy Brown versus Wellington Turman. Wellington Turman's moving down to 170, facing Randy Brown. Turman is a student of Glover Teixeira. Middleweight run has not been great for him. So let him take this move down to welterweight. Really good, man. because some of the place times where he's getting lost look goddamn ugly, real ugly. Let's be for real. Andre Petrosky used him. Petrosky made him look like his son. Um, Bruno Silva banged on him, literally. Andrew Sanchez annihilated that dude at one point. Carl Roberson, split decision. We got a split decision against Carl Roberson. What the hell? He did manage to beat Marcus Perez. He beat Sam Alvey, but went to a split decision. Misha Serkinov, he beat Misha in middleweight. That's not a big deal, though. Misha at middleweight is not it. Misha at light heavyweight is it. But Misha got to work. Randy Brown has fought a list of who's who in 170. But when Randy's on, that mofo's on. He's only been finished 4 times in his career. He has 11 finishes though in his career. He lost last fight Jack Della Maddalena. Really good bout. Maddalena managed to figure him out. Maddalena figured him out in record time, bro. In a matter of seconds, Jack Della Maddalena figured out the striking, his foot placing, his positioning, where he had to cut the corners at to land his shots, and finished them. Jack Della mindset, that fight IQ was crazy. But before that, Randy Brown was on a 4-fight win streak. Beat Cowboy Oliveira, beat Jared Gooden, split decision win against Chaos Williams. Francisco Trinaldo, the OG, got the unanimous decision on. Randy Brown is a really good dude, man. Also, he's from New York, respect. But good kickboxing, really good attitude. Adjust when the pressure's on him. You can't give that guy breathing room or he will come back with a vengeance. If anything, he's going to have to fight off takedowns from Wellington. I don't think Wellington's striking is going to beat Randy Brown's striking. Hell no. It's just going to be a matter of Randy Brown breaking off the clinches and the takedown attempts. That'll be it. If he could defend the takedowns, Wellington Term is screwed. Neil Magny versus Philip Rowe. I like both these guys. Magny, people have put bets on Magny. We put bets on the Cope's Corner Show. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on Fridays. Me and Mike. We've had Neil Magny. Well, I've picked Neil Magny many a time. This is a tough fight against Rowe. Because Rowe is like a younger version of Magny. Both guys are rangy. Both guys got really good jiu-jitsu. It's going to come down to their striking. And, man, Rowe has looked really good. He's also showed that second wind, that extra fuel in the gas tank to pick up wins. Rowe's doing good for himself. Considering, he came in, he beat the other brother, the other Shabazian. He lost to Gabe Green. Then he beat Orion. He finished Orion. And he went out there, he finished Jason Witt. And he finished he finished Nico Price last fight out, which is a war. Crazy war. But managed to put the beats to beat Nico Price, man. Also, my dude grappled Gordon Ryan and Jonathan Piersma. 2 monsters in grappling. Come on, man. In between some of those fights. So, come on. Rowe's jiu-jitsu is really solid. And if anything we know, Neil Magny's weakness is them solid jiu-jitsu players, man. Neil can wrestle, but the jiu-jitsu players are his weakness. Neil's 35 now. but he got that gas tank elevation fight team, and he'll drag fights in the deep water. He got submitted last time by Gilbert Burns, which proves me about my jujitsu stuff. You see, Gilbert Burns submitted him. He beat D-Rod by submission, but lost to Shavkat by submission. Um, you know what I mean? Michael Chiesa had managed to beat him using that grappling. Yo, I like Neil. Neil's my dude, man, but I might lean towards Philip Rowe here. And Rowe's boxing is stand up is a little crazy. So I might stick with him though. I might stick with him. Um Bruno Silva versus Brendan Allen. Allen just got himself a ranking too. Hold on, let me see something like that. Yeah, we gotta talk about this too, because yeah, Ricci's number 15. So if Jillian Robertson beats Tabitha Ricci, she'll get a 15 spot in the strawweight division rankings. Neil Magny's number 11. If Phil Rowe manages to beat Magny, he could get himself a spot in the rankings. This next one, Brendan Allen's ranked number 13 after beating Andre Muniz. He's fighting Bruno Silva. Now, Bruno Silva's fought a list of who's who. Introduced Alex Pereira into his first UFC fight. Just had that KO victory of Rat Tavares. But yeah, he lost to Pereira. He got submitted by Gerald Meerschaert. But before that, he was destroying folks. He beat Jordan Wright, Andrew Sanchez, and Wellington Turman all by strikes. Bruno's a big dude. He's aggressive. You gotta finish him. Hard to beat him by decision. You gotta finish him. Rufus Sport, but I think he's been moving outside, elsewhere, getting his training with some other partners, some other spots. I think he had his own gym that he's been training, but he's also taking some kickboxing courses with some other folks, aka some other place. 17 wins by finish. He's been stopped 3 times in his career, but he has 12 submissions. And that man submitted Andre Muniz, which is a big deal. Beat Christoph Jotko, submitted Christoph Jotko, beat Jacob Malkoon, Sam Alvey. And that was all after the fact he got knocked out by Chris Curtis. Man beat Punahele Soriano. Bro, Brendan Allen is showing up. And if he can keep this going, all he got to do is avoid the big punches of Bruno, keep on his bicycle, on his skates, good footwork, land the big kicks, avoid the big punches of Silva. Silva's not going to throw a big kick to put you away. He's going to throw them hands. That big overhand right, that slinger of a left. You got to duck those strikes, tag on them often, and mix it up with the takedowns. That'll be the first fight of the main card. You got Gabriel Santos versus David Onama at 145. Onama was training with that guy, James Krause. I don't know what the hell's happened to that gym since. But yeah, Onama was training with James. We know James Krause and them got caught for cheating. Well, he got caught for gambling. Super illegal gambling ring. But now since James Krause is not a coach no more, really, Onama been out here. You know, Onama's never been finished. Only lost by decisions. He lost to Nate Landwehr in that epic battle. Beat Garrett Armfield, Gabriel Benitez, Mason Jones. He lost to. But that was a war. I wonder where the hell Mason Jones is. But yeah, man. No, I think he got cut by the UFC. Crazy. But he's going up against Gabriel Santos, who's 10-1. Bah, humbug, man. This dude of a Lucao Thai MMA. And this dude's never been finished. Oh my god. And his debut fight was a split decision against Lerone Murphy. And that was a crazy fight. Oh shoot. Lerone had to dig deep for that split decision too. Oh shoot. I don't know. Three by knockout, three by strikes, four by submission, three by decision. Why they playing with my emotions? I don't know who I picked yet, but that should be a banger. Then we got Justin Taffa versus Austin Lane. Austin Lane used to play football. They collegiate and then the pros. Austin Lane has 35 years old. Um, this is a big mofo, bro. He's 6'6" with an 80-inch reach on a 6-fight win streak. This dude, he been fighting around for a while. I seen him like years ago. Um, he was on the Contender Series. But he was fighting in some other places, mainly Fury. Um, he did fight at LFA briefly. I seen that fight when he was on LFA. But then he was on Fury, fighting championships. Then he won his ticket on ground and pound against Richard Jacoby on last season's Contender Series. It's funny because he was on the Contender Series back in 2018, which is bugged out if you think about it. You're in the Contender Series in 2018. You lose to Greg Hardy, and you build yourself. So much so that you managed to get a 6-fight win streak. You're about to make a debut for the UFC. Problem is, you facing 6-3, no nonsense. If I hit you, you go away. Justin Taffa. Jesus Christ. The man who trains with Tyson Pedro, Tai Tuivasa at times, and the one Mark Hunt. Golly. Mark Hunt's former training partner, actually. I think they still train together. Super kickboxing skills. Only been finished once in his career. God damn. And he's coming off of back-to-back wins. Beating Harry Hunsucker and then putting Parker Porter to sleep. This is going to be a game of inches, literally. If Austin Lane don't back, if Austin Lane got to move 5 inches back and he move about 3 or 4, even 4 1/4, he may die. Yo, Austin got good footwork. From what I seen, Austin got good footwork, but he has a tendency to stay in one spot for a little too long. If anything, the range will probably be a little something that Justin Top has to work through because he'll have the shorter reach. Um, but with big power and the uh, the fearlessness to step forward, fuck, you take away reach really quick. Whether it's the kicks or the punches, Topper will put you away. So damn if you do, damn if you don't. This should be a fun heavyweight fight, man. And our co-main event, yeah, third co-main event, third. Um, we got the battle of number 11s. As number 11, Amanda Hebas faces number 11, Macy Barber in a flyweight bout. Now, the UFC has been trying to experiment with Amanda Hebos because they want to build up Amanda Hebos. They want her to be, she's a marketable individual. You know what I mean? She's improving her English. She's Brazilian. She's cute as hell. Amazing, amazing attitude. Beautiful. Macy Barber, the young prospect they got there, trying to market her as well. She been working with Uriah Faber, Team Alpha Male, Rufus Sport, Duke Rufus, and Ben Askren. You know, they trying to get through with her what they couldn't do with Paige Van Zandt. Um, yeah, Macy's had a couple of hiccups, really bad hiccups. Last couple fights though, she beat KGB Lee, questionable decision. She had the Miranda Maverick win, questionable decision. But with that said, um, you see how it works. Macy Barber, um, really good jujitsu skills, but we really haven't seen her jujitsu a lot, as much as I would expect. I would like to see it, I should say. But we've seen her try to wrestle a little bit. We've seen that she's throwing them strikes. When she throws strikes right, she looked like a beast. When she's trying to shadow box her inner demons, she looked horrible. But she's improved this crazy game of brutalizing opponents in the clinch. We seen that against Montana De La Rosa and who was it? Not it wasn't Lee, because she did strike with Lee. She threw some really good strikes on Lee, even though Lee managed to take her down quite a bit. Kind of weird, but she did. Um, yeah, Jessica I. She there you go. Jessica I. She brutalized in the clinch. Montana De La Rosa. She brutalized in the clinch. Um, you know, but Lee, she couldn't quite do that. Lee was on her skates, striking a little bit, getting the takedowns. Um, with Hebos, we see Hebos. She did get caught by Rodriguez. Oh my god, huh? I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez. There you go. I knew it was right there. But yeah, she beat Viviane Araujo. What we seen in that last fight, though, even though um Hebos does have good jujitsu, we always complain a little bit about her striking game. Her striking was in full form. Not only does she seem comfortable, well, she's been comfortable, she's more comfortable, but she's more comfortable fighting in the pocket and throwing really good strikes. Her landing has improved a lot in the fight against Viviane because Viviane comes out quick for 2 rounds. She managed to find Viviane quite a bit and bang, dropped Viviane Araujo. Man, mixing that up with the jiu-jitsu, keeping Araujo pinned. She has some slick submission skills off her back as well. But she also has good cardio. That's gonna be the thing. Who's gonna fade by the time the third round comes? I liked Hebos's last fight because I felt that she was good. She was very patient. She carried her cardio through, her energy through the fight. With Macy Barber kind of panicked a little bit. And then she got a little calm in the third round, and she looked to put the pace on in the third. If Hebos could put a lot of more of the grappling on Macy, Macy gonna be in problems. But if Macy can get that clinch situation going and mix it with some takedowns, mix it with some wrestling, then we can get ourselves a good fight. But should be a really, really entertaining co-main event. And then we got our main event. As I mentioned, number 5, Josh Emmett will be fighting for his spot against to keep his spot against the surgeon number 9, Ilya Topuria. Oh my God. Topuria, the Georgian-born fighter. Golly. It's crazy because before Topuria, we were making noise about Giga Chikadze, and now Giga is an afterthought. Where we got Ilya Topuria, who has not lost yet. 13-0, undefeated in the UFC, and has embarrassed everybody he's fought. Either he's embarrassed somebody or he's been in a situation where he looked bad and got the upper hand. Let's talk about it. This man was a Brave cage fighting champion, Brave FC fighter, fighting everywhere pretty much, in the Euro circuit somewhat. For Yusuf Zalal, because of his grappling, he handled Yusuf. Then showed he had hands when he knocked out Damon Jackson. Showed his jiu-jitsu defense and that he still had hands. When he beat the brakes off of Ryan Hall, embarrassed and beat up Ryan Hall. Golly. Moved up to lightweight to fight a guy who's no slouch, Jai Herbert. Knocked Jai Herbert out cold. And then moved back down in weight to face Bryce Mitchell. And submitted Bryce Mitchell within 2 rounds. Clowned Bryce in the first round. Then proceeded to embarrass and submit Bryce. Beat him so bad, Bryce thought about retirement after. Ilya Topuria is a menace to society right now and a possible menace in this division. The guy's jiu-jitsu is world class. He can submit mofos for real. Heavy positioning. Heavy positioning. Good with transitions. Can force you into a bad position to get the submission. Tricky guy. Understands these things and uses it defensively to avoid bad positions or being taken to the ground. His striking has improved and he understands striking. How so? Defense is pretty solid. Footwork is pretty solid. His combinations to the head and body are insane because his combinations are something that take people some years to develop. To see that develop as well as it has while still having this run, while being on this run in the UFC, fucking crazy. And he has KO power. What's the problem? You're facing Josh Emmett. But even though you're facing Josh Emmett, a guy who has dropped people, who has come from behind in fights to KO people, who's KO'd people stiff. My guy's 38 years old. He's 38 years old. He just came from an interim title fight loss against Yair Rodriguez. Before that, he was on a 5-fight win streak. But in those last 3 fights, this mofo took punishment. Then include the Yair Rodriguez, that's 4 fights of punishment. Shane Burgos, what a war. Dan Ige, oh shit. Calvin Kattar, huh? Then you go fight Yair Rodriguez, and Yair went from the first 30 seconds to the end of that fight, to when that fight ended, blasted this man with shots and body kicks. Oh my God. This is a man who had his face broken by Jeremy Stevens. Then he had the horrible leg injury, I think it was, or arm injury, where he had to sit out after that. Crazy. The gap to how much he has left in this run, in his last couple years or so in the UFC, depend on how he wins this on this fight. If he could get the win, this guy got 8 wins by finish and 10 by decision. No, you gotta. As much as you want to brawl, man, you gotta pull the wrestling out. John Sherman, you gotta pull the wrestling out. You can't afford to be just taking banger shots, shots and shots and shots like this. Hell no. For Emmett, you gotta bring the fundamentals out. You gotta get your wrestling in there. You gotta chain wrestle if you can. And you gotta bring ground and pound on Ilia Topuria. And if Ilia Topuria throws a shot, you gotta make him pay. If not, Topuria's gonna find his way to cut this distance off, work body shots, which he's really good at, put that left to the body, and bring over that right hand. And we may see Emmett on the floor sleep. I hope Emmett could get this win here. But damn, is it going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Real tough. Like, damn, bro. For real? Yeah, it's going to be like that. There's also one more thing I got to bring up. Let me see. I think there's BKFC going on this weekend too. What's today's date? I hate when I don't remember the date. Yes, it is. BKFC. That boy. Luis Palomino defends his title against James Lilly. Yep. Jake Boswick is in the co-main against Eric Lozano. Really good bout right there. Palomino's been their champ for a minute. And if you remember, Luis Palomino fought in the WSOF, having 2 fights against Justin Gaethje and quite a bit of other standouts in that organization. Palomino's had a hell of a career as an MMA fighter, but has been in a resurgence since bare knuckle fighting. Bringing old school swagger, old school and new school technique, that brawler's mentality, and finessing all that shit to keep that title. He has looked flawless in his run so far. And I hope he can keep this title. But James Lilly is a big time dude, man. Out of the UK. He's from where Jack Shore is from. Yeah, Wales, yeah. He's from Wales. So that's gonna be about Jake Boswick fights Eric Lozano, as I mentioned. We got Eduardo Peralta versus Howard Davis. Let me see people I know. G. Perez versus Philip Ryan Carroll. Okay. Okay, so we got a couple prelims, 2 prelim fights. So the prelims show on YouTube, and the main card will be on Fight TV. If you get yourself a subscription to BKFC, it's not bad. What is it, like $4 or $5.99 now? I think it's $4.99 or $6.99. One of the two. It's between there, but you get unlimited. Unlimited. What is it? Unlimited access. There you go. to all the BKFC events all around the world, not just the ones that they have in the US, but the Thailand joints and all the other London and all that. Extra stuff and whatnot. So I always recommend get a subscription and look through it. Got some good stuff there, man. You can see the guys fights, the ladies fights, see the Thailand fights. The Thailand fights are wild as hell. So catch those too, man. But yeah, I think that's it today. I think we're done here. So if you want to catch me, New Year, same B at Mr. B 1986. That's my Twitter handle. Go check that out. I tweet, retweet, send me a question. Just say what's up on the DMs. I'm on OK Live, Mr. B. Uh, Whenever the fights are on, I'm there. So check me out. I'm streaming fights this weekend, of course. Streaming fights, conversating about fights, blah blah blah. I do this joint every Wednesday. Somewhere between 4 and 6. I'll throw a noti. If you got the notifications on, it'll be there. I do a random Sunday, but that depends. Um, yeah, so catch those. My homies always do a stream. You know, talk about Ted Hicks, Late Night Parent, Tony D, him and Glick. They do their nonsensical nonsense pod. You can catch that to three. I think it's during like 3 days of the week, 3 days or more out of the week. But you guys catch them at Nonsensical Nonsense YouTube channel. Do Tony D be on there? Tony D's everywhere. Um, I'll be on with TJ the Prodigy as well. We talk wrestling sometimes. TJ's be doing his thing. Um, with his wrestling, random topics. You should check him out, TJ the Prodigy on YouTube. Brian, I don't know what Brian doing, but Brian doing something. But yeah, man, we're gonna see what happens. Oh yeah, Sunday Night Smoke is on Sundays at 7, I think, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, on YouTube. I think Twitch. Cope's Corner Fridays 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah. And yeah, that's it with the man Mike Copenhaver. But that's it. I'm going. I'm out of here. Y'all be good. Y'all be easy. Y'all take care. God, why am I coughing? Shit. All right, I think I shared enough. I'll hit up a random one on Sunday. But that's it, man. Be good. Be easy. Take care. Peace.